Here's my slide. There was a story about King Canute. He was a Scandinavian king. He was a Viking leader. And in about 1035 AD, he became the king of England, Norway, and Denmark. And he was one of the first kings to really sort of unify that group. He was a Christian as well. And he was tired of everybody constantly praising him. People would come into his court and tell him how wonderful he was. He was a fantastic leader. He could do no wrong. He was getting constant praise. And so he takes his entire court down to the sea. And he takes his throne down to the sea. And he sets up his throne at the edge of the beach. And he says, I want everybody to watch for a second. And he yells out to the ocean, stop rising. And he does this for hours. And he keeps his court there, and he asks his court, he says, I want you to watch this. And he keeps saying, stop rising, but the tide keeps coming in. After a couple hours, his throne is halfway underwater. His command has obviously failed. And King Canute turns to his court and says, let all the world know that the power of kings is empty and worthless, and there is no king worthy of the name save him by whose heaven and earth and sea obey eternal laws. He says, I am not worthy of your praise. I am no greater than you are. I can't stop the waves, but there's one who can. And it's the king that is deserving of our praise, that is deserving of exaltation, that is deserving of your attention. When it comes to our pride and our humility, it's important that we understand that Jesus is supposed to be our example, the one who humbled himself to the cross. And that as we endeavor to walk forward in this relationship with Christ, there's going to be temptation. There's going to be a desire to think that we are mightier than we really are, because by design, we are not as sinful as we once used to be. But that does not mean that we are deserving of praise. Rather, we are just exhibiting less sin than we were originally. But we are still fallen creatures. And thankfully, God accepts us, warts and all, into his kingdom because we have repented and said, God, you can do this and I cannot. You are my Savior. I am not my own Savior. I ask for your forgiveness that you might help me. And even now, as you know, we are Christians who have been with the kingdom for years and years and years, we would say, I am still not my own Savior. I am still not deserving of praise, but by God's grace, I've been saved by faith through Jesus Christ, who humbled